Now, you've done out there on the spacewalk. First of all, did you ever think, okay, maybe there's other life out here? And then also, on a slightly more serious note, when you do look out into the universe, do you have this feeling that there's life out there?
It's the alien thing cracks me up, because in America, everybody thinks they're in Roswell, New Mexico. That's
right.
It's
what is it, Area 51?
Area 51 is in a different place. That's in Las Vegas,
okay.
or near Las Vegas. Or I don't know where it is. I don't even know if there is one or not, but there's one in Las Vegas and there's one in New Mexico. But I always laugh that if I was an alien and I had to travel, hundreds of light years and then billions of miles, and I finally made it to Earth, and it is a beautiful planet. There's blue, there's turquoise of the Bahamas. London looks like a fun place to come. There's lots of places I would go, but the middle of New Mexico would not be the place I would go if I had traveled billions of miles.
Which is where they were all sighted.
Although it's a beautiful place, yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
So, but being in space, I learned a lot about physiology and biology, because I did ultrasound scans of my brain and my eyeball and my heart and these laser scans, and I just learned a lot about the science of biology and then the science of astronomy. And I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. Because life is so incredible that I have a garage at home in my house. And if I could wait a month, that garage would never clean itself. If I waited 1 billion years, the garage would not clean itself, someone has to go out there and clean the garage. I could take a pile of silicon and set it in my driveway, and we have all these thunderstorms in Houston. Why? I almost missed the show today because we were late for weather flying in from Houston this morning. And if lightning hit that pile of silicon for 1 billion years, it would never make that glass. Like, this glass would never be created from some random thing. So knowing about life, which is so amazing, and we replicate ourselves, and a lot of us work for 70, 80, 90 years, and we have love and hate and happiness, and all this stuff about life is just somebody had to make it. I just don't have the faith to be a pure, everything happened randomly atheist. That's kind of the philosophy that I had before I went in space, but having seen it, and it's like this, the sunrise view I was telling you about, wow, there was something really powerful there. So that was kind of my philosophy.
Okay.
Looking at things.
Let me translate. I used to be an atheist, but then I started working for the government and lying about space. Now I believe in God.
And does that mean that it doesn't exist anywhere else in the universe?
No, I don't think so at all.
Okay.
I just don't think I think somebody had to make it if it existed. Just like there's a glass here, right?
Right.
It might exist in France, but somebody had to make it there. It's that it didn't randomly happen across the channel. And I don't know. I don't know if God made life in other planets or not. There's an awful lot of planets. We're starting to find, with our satellites, planets in other solar systems.
You saw the picture of Neil deGrasse Tyson on the wall,
right.
And I know he was at your IMAX.
He was at the IMAX premiere, right?
I don't know if him or other people have said, like, if you do the numbers, like you said, we're finding there's so many other galaxies out there that some people say you can almost prove the fact that some biology must exist out there.
Must be out there. The flip side of that is, if there is, why haven't you heard from them? If there's so many of them out there, and we have this thing called SETI, which is a network that listens for radio signals.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting question. I've come to the conclusion that life doesn't happen randomly, because it's just everything that is interesting, or there's this concept of entropy where everything kind of disintegrates.
Yeah.
The second law of thermodynamics. And so without some creative energy, my book would not have been written without my effort in writing a book. And an organism is so much more advanced and harder to make than a book, so that's my view.
Well, there you have it, folks. Well-known astronaut Terry Virts says he believes life was created. And he also said that if there was life out there on other planets, that somebody would have had to have created it. He didn't say some magic explosion would have had to have created it. He said Somebody. I find this highly fascinating due to the fact that whenever a scientist suggests the notion of a creator being responsible for life, rather than the Big Bang Theory, that scientist is then ridiculed and blackballed from the science community. Funny thing is, none of these scientists who endorse the Big Bang Theory have ever actually been to outer space to check out any of their theories. Meanwhile, an astronaut who works for NASA and claims he has been to outer space several times, he says he believes life was created, and if there was life on other planets, that somebody would have had to have created it. I personally find this highly fascinating, and I think it presents an interesting dilemma for atheists who cite NASA as their source.
Can you tell us if it's round or if it's flat?
It's round. I've seen it.
Or
It's like it's curved.
Or it's curved.
Yeah.
What do a lot of people ask you about that? Why is that all of a sudden something that people talk a lot about? And is it pretty easy to prove besides all of your pictures?
That's funny. You know, Buzz Aldrin jokes about that. He's like, on the moon, there would be no flat moon society because it's just so you could, because it's even smaller, so you can actually look out and see that it's curved.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, no, it's not flat. I watched myself go around the edge of it as it was curved.
Okay.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin jokes that there would be no flat moon society because Buzz Aldrin has never been to the moon, and neither has anyone else. They claim they went to the moon in this homeless tweakers shelter, but ask yourself, does it look like a spaceship or does it look more like a homeless tweaker shelter? I mean, seriously, take a look at this thing. Zoom in. I can see tinfoil, scotch tape, construction paper, curtain rods. I mean, NASA claims they went to the moon in this pile of shit? Who else wants their money back?
Do you ever get involved with those discussions with people?
No one ever talks about flat Earth is much less popular than moon landings were faked.
Oh, really?
Or there's
Okay.
aliens. Like there's other
Okay.
there's other conspiracy theories that are higher on that priority list.
Whose priority list? Yours? Let me ask you this, Terry. Does your God and or creator, does it mind when you boldface lie about the shape of the earth? Or are you lying? Or are you using words to get around lying? I noticed you didn't use the word sphere or ball or oblate spheroid. You kept using the term round. It's round. I saw it. It was curved. It was round. Never said ball. You never said oblate spheroid. You never said it was pear-shaped. You just kept saying it was round. I think round is a term you liars like to use to avoid being called liars one day when you're caught and put on trial for treason. You'll simply say, I wasn't lying. I said it was round.
Can you tell us if it's round or if it's flat?
The question seems to suggest that an object must either be round or flat. But what if it was both? Take a coin, for example. Is a coin round or is it flat?